Hello, G-Dub-Dub. It is Mr. Simmons in my dining room, kind of getting my mind wrapped around what my food project is going to be this year. Obviously, I'm going to need tools, anything that's straight. It could be a ruler like this, but and anything that's round, you can use cups or dishes. I do have some of these cool things, which is great. Several sharp pencils is a great idea. But actually, before you start drawing anything or certainly cutting anything, that'll be days away. You definitely want to have your instructions with you. Hopefully, you can look at them at your computer, which I sent to you, or if you could print them, that's even better. But you can just use regular paper, scratch paper or whatever. The backs of things are wonderful to use too. So I've got all my instructions and my checklist here, and then on the back I have kind of my, well, actually that's not true. One of the first things I'm going to do is kind of just use the food package design early sketches and brainstorming. The light's not very good in here. Brainstorming stuff just to start like sketching and drawing like what shapes I might want. I was thinking about maybe doing one in the shape of a car. Radical racing raisin relish, and kind of incorporate my name into the shape that I have. But probably your best thing to do first is to go get some of the stuff you have in your kitchen. I found some Cheez-Its, of course Rice Krispies. This is a very skinny tall box. Obviously if they're still sealed, that's fine, because you can look at everything. You can look at the cover and look at, definitely there's a picture of the food on the front. Rice Krispies, of course, are associated with these three characters named Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and they always look like they're having the best time getting a bowl of Rice Krispies together. So the front of your box should be inviting, right? It should be just like the first sentence in your essay that you're writing about your country. It should make people want to try this for sure. But if you look at the rest of the box, it's got 6 sides. It's got a front, it's got a back, it has 2 sides, and then it has a top and a bottom. And of course your checklist has what should be on each of these things. But I'm just looking at a box. I'm looking at the nutrition label. It's got, yours wants to be nice and neat like this, and I'll show you in another video how to make it nice and neat and organized like this. But it's got your ingredients. You want to start thinking about those, and then you can pretty much kind of copy one of these labels. You don't have to use everything that's in there, but you want to kind of copy the way it's set up, right? So your serving size and your servings per container are up top. Calories are next, and then it talks about fat, cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, which are starches and sugars, and your proteins, and then other vitamins and minerals, right? But what you should do is find a box that's almost empty, or maybe empty. These are white cheddar. You can see how big the picture of your food is on there. And then on the back, it just looks like, oh my gosh, that thing is like exploding from space, like with the sun behind it and real cheese. I don't know if there's real cheese in Cheez-Its, but most boxes look the same. There's just big pictures again on the side. Sorry, that's kind of... but what I would do is I'd find a box that's empty, right? And before you go and recycle it, flatten it out like this, and then look inside to see where the glue line is. There it is, right there. I don't know if you can see. You can't really see. Can I do this? Okay, it's not working. If I look here, right in here, what am I doing? Yeah, you can see where part of this is, and if you do this, if you kind of really carefully find that where it got glued together, and just kind of slowly, can you see what I'm doing here? Get your finger in there and kind of run up the side without ripping it too much, and just be careful as you can. I wasn't very good at that, right? But what you can see is that there's there's this little flap here, right, that some machine put glue on, and then when that came together, that glued to there. But if I open this up, you can see that there's a side right here, and then this will probably be the front, and another side, and the back. And then these flaps here, this one here, it's kind of half a flap, and this one up here is half a flap. Those flaps will make the top and the bottom. So experiment. Look at boxes that you already have in your house. Don't go opening up a bunch of boxes that aren't that aren't finished yet. Your parents will not be happy with that. But I'll bet you can find one, and it doesn't have to be this size of a box. This is a classic cereal box. This is what we call a rectangular prism. So the front and the back are rectangles, and so are the sides, and so are the tops, right? Six-sided. Your project has to have at least 5 sides, and this is probably the easiest kind to make, is a rectangular prism. Obviously, in the other video, you've seen lots of other freaky shapes, and again, those are made by what's called a net, N-E-T, a net, just like you would catch a fish with or something. And they're mathematical nets, and what you do is you draw it out. Of course, you want to make sure that this piece right here is the same exact size width as this piece, and the sides are the same too, right, if you're making a rectangular prism. We'll talk about that stuff and outlining in another video, but I want to go back to this thing here, because this is what we were what you're supposed to start with, and you should spend a couple days on this for sure if you're doing this. So this is my early sketches in brainstorming, and then I did this page, which is just kind of brainstorming, right? I'm going to call my thing Radical Rhombi Lumps, and I'm thinking about why it's amazingly delicious. There's different flavors. They're shaped like rhombuses, which is pretty unique. I don't know any foods that are shaped like rhombuses. Some of them are sweet, some of them are spicy. And then words that I can use when I'm trying to make it sound delicious are things like sweet and spicy and powdered sugar and heirloom, which means it's like, I don't know, kind of really cool and classic or something like that. I'm also thinking about, by looking at some of the other boxes in my kitchen, like how many lumps or how many ounces or how many cups or how many like chips, if you're making chips or something like that, how many make up one serving, and then how many servings are in the whole container. So if I have 4 lumps, then all my nutrition information is based on that, and so I have like 100 calories if I eat 4 lumps, but there's 8 servings in my container, which means that there's actually 8 times 4, which is 32 lumps in my box. And if I ate the whole box and it was 100 calories per serving, then it would be, oh my gosh, 3,200. No, I'm sorry, it would be, yeah, it'd be 8 times, it'd be 800 calories, right? I think about how many calories I'm getting per serving and how many carbs and fats and things like that. The capacity of your box is probably going to be in ounces. It could be in grams as well. If you're selling something really heavy, if you're making like, oh, I don't know, broccoli bricks or something like that, it might be measured in pounds. You can see that okay. Think about the price of your box. It's not going to be thousands of dollars because no one would buy it. So don't make it too expensive. But if you have rare ingredients, it might get over $10 or something like that. And I'll talk about how to figure out the unit price, like how much it is per ounce. I'm not going to figure out the volume yet because I haven't built my box, and I'll need to know exactly what the height of my box is and the width of my box and the depth or the thickness of my box before I can figure out the volume. A rectangular prism has this formula. So just like the area of a rectangle, a flat two-dimensional rectangle is area equals length times width. Volume is all the space inside this box, and so it's length times width, but it's also times the height. So I've done a little bit of thinking there, and then I'm trying to, like, in my second stage, I'm going to start trying to sketch out what it might look like. So I've got radical rhombi lumps. This isn't technically a rhombus, to be honest with you, but these shapes are. This is not a rhombus, it's just a parallelogram. So, whoops, sorry, I have to be able to see that The light is kind of blinding. So I'm sketching out what it looks like in my mind, and then I'm thinking about all sorts of stuff. Like on one side I might have a giveaway, like you can win something. You can win a toy, or you can win a trip or a cruise or concert tickets, or I don't know, you could win whatever. This is a little crazy. It says just send 4,278,627 box tops. That's I don't know if you guys do box tops, even people talk about it anymore, but if you look at this box top right here, like Kellogg has family rewards, right? So you can actually send away for stuff, and so that's just one of my things I'm thinking about having on the side of my boxes. Like you can send away or win a cool ship that flies in the air. And then I'm also starting to think about the other side that might talk about all the different flavors that I have. I've decided that my Romby Lumps will come in 5 different flavors. There'll probably be separate flavors in each box. I don't think you want to put peanut butter and jelly Romby Lumps in with pork humbao and fiery enchilada Romby Lumps. But, and this, I just came up with some crazy spicy chainsaw samosas with real chainsaw teeth inside. That could be dangerous. I'll probably get sued or something like that. But these are the pages that I'm just kind of brainstorming. My ingredients section, I'm thinking about all the different flavors and then what ingredients they might have in them. So your job in the next few days, today's Sunday, the June 7th, definitely in the next few days, you should be finishing up all of this thought on here. And then on my next video, I'll start to talk about designing, and then we'll talk about measuring and drawing and layout, and then we'll talk about cutting and folding. And there's lots of different ways. If you have hot glue in your house, then great, you can seal them with hot glue, but tape works just fine. I love you. I hope you get a good start and you're really excited about this. No pressure. I'll see you soon. Love you.